Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Living on Rocky Top. My name is Karsten Hoglund.
And I'm Rosa.
We are starting a new segment called Side Hustle Showcase, where we bring on college students to talk about what it's like to be a full-time student on top of running their own business.
Our first guest for the segment is Avery Jameson, who is a freshman studying business analytics. He runs his own basketball organization called AJM Hoops in the Knoxville area.
Without further ado, here is Avery.
My name's Avery Jameson. I'm a freshman here at UT. I was born and raised about 30 minutes out in a place called Loudoun County. And yeah.
So talk about your business. You have your own business, right?
Yeah, it's very new. So AJM Hoops is something that really started, I would say, last summer, but I didn't name it until just about, I would say, like a month or two ago. So basically, as of right now, it's just like a pickup basketball association. So I try to find gym space, gym time, and groups of guys that would like to come in and play. I'd like to eventually transition into, girls pickup as well, because I know mainly it's high school, college age, and I know a lot of females that would like to get into that as well. So I'd like to expand into that. But as of right now, it's just pickup basketball, because it's so hard to find like gym space, like almost impossible, especially around here. If it's not, $1 million rent, then it's just not there. So for me to, do the legwork of finding the gym space, finding the time, reaching out to all the guys that I know that would want to play, and then basically whatever rent is, and right now rent's very cheap for the space that I found. They just pay me $5 to come play, and we just all get together. There's typically 15, 20 of us in there, and we go up and just play basketball.
So what was your goal in starting your own business?
So I would say goal right now is to work my way into being big enough to getting an actual gym, because right now it's just like basically concrete floor. I bought 2 basketball goals, set them up, and we go play right there. It's about the length of a basketball court. So I would say local goal is to get a real gym, and be able to, charge a little more, make a little more money. Rent's going to be a little higher when I get that nicer gym. And I would say long-term goal would be able to have my own facility, and then eventually be able to train basketball for the youth up through college, as well as having leagues and camps, and still doing the pickup basketball, maybe even renting out gym space to, whether that be like birthday parties or like volleyball even, because there's a million different things you can do on a basketball court. So just having that open available space that is, willing to share. So that's long term.
So talk a little bit about so you mentioned like the basketball side of things, and mention like behind the scenes business. Like what does that look like?
So, there's a lot to consider, and I've had a few different meetings with like basketball coaches, for example. So I would say as far as business-wise, getting numbers to actually come to these things. So finding a place that's local is difficult. So right now I'm actually working in Clinton, is our location, and all of the people that I already know and kind of have played with like last summer are very far away from Clinton. So it's very difficult to get the numbers up there and to make it work, to make it make sense. So for long-term, like to get a loan or to get like to present my business to possible investors or coaches to invest in my business or allow me to maybe even use their gym space, I have to set myself up, in the back end for success, to lay out something for them to see success in and be willing to share with me. So I would say making a profit is big now, and just setting myself up. I've got to, be 5 steps ahead at all times.
Oh yeah, for sure. How would you say managing a business on top of college classes? How is that for you?
Very difficult. I would say it's very difficult. It's one of them's got to take a hit on any given day. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in, like which one's going to take the hit. Like, okay, I'll set this down for a minute to go handle this, or I could probably skip this class today. So, which is probably not good, but right. I'm trying to work into a balance. But yeah, because there's a lot of things that, trying to start my business that I don't realize, like insurance. I had to go through the process of getting my LLC, which I had no idea what to do. So these are type of things that like my dad or like where I work right now, D1, some of the guys there can help me with. But, as far as school goes, in that sense, I can get help. But as far as school goes, neither of my parents went to university. So it's kind of like, if I get help in one end, the other end's kind of falling. So
Right.
it's hard. It's difficult to juggle, but I would much rather try it than, give up on one or the other. So.
So you talked about basketball. Do you have like a love for it? What's your favorite team? Or like, how did that start?
Okay, so actually, and I love this because basketball is most definitely my favorite thing in the world. I think it's a way for me to bring people together, and like it's something that millions of people, have in common throughout the world. No matter where I am, there's somebody in the building that knows something to do with basketball. And so I would say that when I was in middle school, I didn't play any sports at all. I was like super not into sports at all. I didn't have any friends. I wasn't any of that. Well, I made a friend who happened to be on the basketball team, football team, all of that, most athletic kid in the school, and I was weird, didn't have any friends. So, but then we went out one time and we played basketball together, and I fell in love immediately and just didn't put it down. Like, we picked it up that day. That was in probably the 6th grade. I'm a freshman in college, haven't put it down since, and I don't plan on it until, the day I die. So I feel like it gained me so many friends and so many experiences. Things like my assistant basketball coach in high school, I would say is one of the big reasons I got saved. I'm Christian, and like, I feel like basketball brought me through so much, and I feel like I see so much help, especially like in the kids. Like, there are middle schoolers and high schoolers that struggle with so much. Like, the world's so complicated, so very complicated, and people make things, very hard on others. And you walk into a basketball gym and it's just, you might have music playing, you might have guys yelling and laughing, and it's just simple all the time. So yeah, I just love it. And my favorite team is the Sacramento Kings, who just made the playoffs. Let's go. So yeah.
So talk a little bit about, so you mentioned your first generation college, right? So talk about how it was navigating that, like finding a college. Well, like, how did that look like for you? What was that experience?
Well, there was really no question about what college I was going to. I was like, yeah, I got to go to UT. I mean, it's close by, but I mean, college really hasn't been, I've never really been super into school. It's always been like easy for me. So I never had to like work hard in school, and I never had to it was never important to me. I always had like the bigger picture, especially with like basketball and the basketball business. So much of that is like out there in the world. Like, you learn it by playing, you learn it by going and working,
Right.
and doing. Like, I'm going to a coaching clinic in Vegas where I'm learning that from. But as far as school wise, it's taken me until now to realize like it's important.
Right.
So graduating high school, it's like, well, I'll apply to UT. UT is actually the only school I applied to.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't apply to any other school.
Yeah.
So it was either UT or like Roan State or Fellowship, community college. So I only applied to UT. I ended up applying for the dorms, got Stokely, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
That's a really nice one.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, I mean, it just kind of happened. There wasn't too much navigating. My parents had no idea what to do. I really had no idea what to do. So I made, a few mistakes and, waiting on emails that I never sent in the first place. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been weird, but it's been honestly a lot easier than I thought, in high school. So
have you liked UT? Like, do you go to the basketball games or?
sometimes. So like, one of my best friends is actually on the basketball team,
Okay.
but he's a red shirt, so he doesn't play. So I've went to like a few of them, but I work a lot. So like, I'm not ever on campus really much anymore. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy UT. There are like classes. I mean, I never really enjoy classes, but I like a lot of my professors, even though I don't love their class. My major is analytics.
Okay.
Yeah, so business analytics major. I feel like, in my field, I can learn a lot about basketball, training, coaching in the world, but I can't learn a lot about business numbers in the world every day. So might as well go to school for that if I'm here.
Would you say there's like certain classes that UT offers that's helped you like with your business and growing it?
Off the rip, something that I really enjoyed, first semester of college, business management with Barksdale.
Okay.
Shout out Miss Barksdale. I really enjoyed that class, and it helped me a lot because she was awesome. I'm going to credit her with that whole course, in my opinion. She made the class because it wasn't necessarily like the curriculum. It was like me asking further questions and her answering them exactly like, exactly how I expected almost. Like she always had like, it felt like she always had the answer. So I really enjoyed that. Plus, that's like my only really business course that I've taken so far. And then other than that, I mean, I had a yoga class that I really liked. So,
Yoga?
yeah, I had a yoga class
What
that
class was that?
it was like mind and body health, I think.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't even a full semester. So it was a 1 credit, but I really enjoyed it. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So talk a little bit about like in high school, your experience like being on the team and what was that like and how you turned that into creating this business.
Yeah, so I would say, like I said, I fell in love with it in like the 6th grade. But in my 8th grade year, I broke my back. And so I was in a back brace for most of my 8th grade year, missed the basketball season. Freshman and sophomore year, I actually didn't even make the high school basketball team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so
But you were devastated.
I was heartbroken. I cried. Oh man, I cried. I was destroyed, but I ended up moving schools
Okay.
to the rival school. So like big time
Yeah.
rivalry. And then made the team there. Really enjoyed it. Made, some of my best friends in that process. Met some of the best guys, like one of my biggest mentors, Dylan Brewster.
Yep.
So Coach Brewster really set me on track, and that's where I made the transition from you need to be a doctor, you need to be a lawyer, into do what you love. Because Brewster made me realize that just because we're from, Loudoun County, small town, doesn't mean you can't do something bigger.
Right.
So I went there, loved the game. I'm lucky enough to love something that can be translated into work. Not everybody's as fortunate. A lot of people hate their job.
Yeah.
And so he helped me realize there on the high school basketball team, through playing every day, talking with him after, his experiences with it. He went to play college ball. He was a graduate assistant here when Tennessee was #1 with Grant and Schofield.
Yep.
Talking with him about that and then walking with the Lord made me realize, like, this is possible. Let's go do it. Nobody else is doing it. There's 1 of 2 reasons. 1, because it's not possible. 2, because they haven't tried it yet. And so I'm going with they haven't done it yet.
Dylan Brewster is like, he's a fantastic guy.
All
He's
time
like
great.
in it for the kids.
Yes.
He's just, and like playing at UTC
Yep.
and working at UT. He's just a great guy.
Gave me hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I just want to shout out Avery real quick. So when he was on the team in Lenore City High School, my mom works there, so I was at all the basketball games. Like seeing his energy on the bench, like even if Avery didn't play, like he was just like just a great guy to be like on the bench and cheering his team along. You even didn't you get featured on, was it WBR or WATE?
Yeah, there's a news story. It's on YouTube. I actually watched it the other day. Yeah, we actually funny story. I actually was talking to Johnson University,
Okay.
their coach, and he was like, "Hey man, I saw that news deal about you. You should come by and check out the team." So
That's awesome.
yeah, and I didn't play much in high school, and so but yeah, that's kind of like that's my proof. Is like anybody that's seen me, out there, that love, that energy, for my teammates is how I have every time I'm in a basketball gym. Or really in anything, that I'm doing. It's like, love each other and good things will come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good things will come when you support others support you. And I think that's my whole driver. Like that feeling I get, the love, the connection with others every time we're in a basketball gym. I always want to have that. I always want to be able to invite, if one of my kids texted me last summer, I had an 8th grader text me, him and his girlfriend broke up. He was devastated. Him and his parents were fighting. I mean, just super sad. I mean, this kid's crying. He's 14 years old. He's young. He's like, can we please go to the gym? And at the time, I wasn't really allowed to, but I had a key. So I did. And it was just like one of those things where, okay, now he's texting me consistently, and now he's feeling better. And now instead of maybe, you know, this kid's relationship with their parents not very good, this kid may not have many friends, but he's got me to come to. He's got a basketball gym to go shoot in, you know, when he's upset. So I think that's like the biggest, that energy you're talking about, that's the biggest driving factor. Yeah.
Just yelling.
Intangible value. I think that's an intangible value that my business will bring. Aside from, you know, you can say how important is basketball in the world, you know, like it's not inventing toilet paper, right? Like, you know, everybody's not got it in their household, but, you know, that energy, that love, I think is just as important as anything else. So
it's amazing. So I know you said you didn't make the basketball teams in your freshman and sophomore year.
Yes.
What would you say to yourself if you went back?
The same thing that I did, just keep going. So just keep going. That's what I did, and it worked out for the best. So I think things happen for a reason. I don't think I was supposed to make that team. You know, regardless of why, I don't think I was supposed to. I think I was supposed to move to Leonard City and, you know, supposed to be on that team, meet my friends, meet Coach Brewster, and be on this track. So, yeah, just keep going. I like the way I handled it. So,
yeah, I'm glad you ended up at Lenore City.
yeah.
Loud and Lenore City are like huge rivals.
Huge rivals.
They call it Battle of the Bridge because they're across the water from each other, and they like battle each other.
I think it's the second longest going rivalry in the state.
Yeah.
Behind like Dobbins Bennett or something.
Yeah, it's big.
Yes.
Yeah, you do not want to be caught wearing red on the wrong side of the bridge. Yeah.
Big time.
Do you have any like final things you want to add or anything else that you want people to know about your brand business?
I would say this might be a little cheesy, but I feel like if anybody is listening that is debating on like maybe it isn't possible or maybe it's going to be too hard or there are people telling you can't and like to take the safe route, just don't do it, because the safe route is going to be, you know, if it's not what you love, you're going to be left miserable. And I would much rather be broke trying than, you know,
not trying at all.
You're right. So that might be a little cheesy, but
No,
I see way too many people put their head down and give up on what they got going on just to fail anyways.
Yeah.
So,
and what social media are you on? Do you have your website that anyone can follow?
I don't have a website yet. I was actually looking into it. I know nothing about anything to do with this stuff. So I'm really just figuring out as I go. I would like to start a website soon, but it's AJAM Hoops. I'm on TikTok. That's kind of not really. I'm not on TikTok too much, but
still
and
marketing.
then
I feel like you have to be on TikTok.
I try a little
if
bit.
you want to, yeah.
And then I've got Instagram, AJAM Hoops, aside from my personal one, and then I've got, let's see, I think that's it. Mainly Instagram, I would say, is my biggest pusher.
Yeah.
That's what I use the most.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, go follow Avery on Instagram, and that is a wrap for this week's episode of Living on Rocky Top.